In this video, I'm going to be sharing things that you ought to know before getting married. Marriage is actually a very beautiful thing. It is so delightful to see a guy and a girl come together from two different backgrounds and they make up their mind that they want to spend the rest of their lives helping one another through the journey of life. Trying to explain the mystery between Christ and the church. It is something that is very beautiful. It is sacred in the sight of God. And I know that either you're male or you're female, marriage is something that most of us look forward to. We anticipate the day we'll get married and the day we'll meet the love of our life. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this video. Hi guys, my name is Ifeoluwa, and on this channel I talk about faith, I talk about relationship, and I also talk about real life issues. Please don't forget to subscribe, share my videos, like, leave a comment, and don't forget to turn on your post notification so you get notified when I post a new video. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking about things that you ought to know before getting married. And the first thing I'm going to be talking about is that marriage is actually sacrifice. I know that you have met this special person, you really love this person, and you can't wait to spend the rest of your life with this person. But being married for over 2 years, I can say that marriage is all about sacrifice. It's all about compromising at times. It's all about, putting this person first, being patient with this person. Just like the misery behind Christ and the church, where Christ came and died for us and sacrificed himself for us so that we can have access to God. It's the same thing in marriage. You see that most times the two parties have to sacrifice, have to compromise much more than the butterflies in your belly, much more than, okay, I really love her shape, I really like how he looks, I like how he dresses, I like her wig. Much more than that, when you actually get married, you will see that you have to sacrifice for this partner. And I don't, when I say sacrifice, I don't mean like sacrificing in the bad way of maybe giving up your goals or your careers. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean, in your day-to-day life, there are things that you just learn to compromise. For example, I know a couple that a party doesn't like sleeping with light on, and another party likes sleeping with light on. Because everybody needs to have a good sleep. What did they do? They got a colored bulb. So the room is not so bright and the room is not so dark. That is sacrifice. The person that wants to sleep with light off is compromising that, okay, as long as the room is not so bright. And the person that doesn't like to sleep with light on is like, okay, the room is not so bright, it's dim, and I can still manage. Also, maybe your spouse doesn't like eating a particular thing, and you, on the other hand, you like eating that particular thing. You can sacrifice is also saying that, okay, my partner doesn't enjoy this particular meal, and because of that, maybe in our household it's not something that we'll be eating regularly because my partner doesn't like this meal. Sacrifice is also living where you are comfortable with, living your parents, your siblings, your family that you have grown up with for a long time, and going to clear with a lady, going to clear with a guy. That is actually another sacrifice, because you are going to a land unknown. You are sacrificing what you knew for something that you actually don't know in plain sight. So marriage is actually sacrifice. And I don't want you to be surprised when you get married and you see that, okay, I have to sacrifice some things. I have to sacrifice maybe my sleep sometimes. I have to sacrifice maybe the food I like. I have to sacrifice some things I like to do at times just to make sure my partner is happy and just to make sure that our relationship is thriving. The second thing I would like you to know is that conflict is actually inevitable in a relationship. And when I say conflict, I don't mean um fighting, like having back to back disagreement or having physical punches. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that there is bound to be disagreements among the two parties, because the both of you are coming from different backgrounds. The both of you actually see things sometimes through different lenses of life, and because of that, sometimes you people will find it hard to come to an agreement for a particular thing. It is normal. And because you're having conflicts in your marriage, although it should not be all the time, but because you're having conflict once in a while in your marriage, it doesn't mean that you did not marry the right person or your marriage is bad. No, no, no. Conflict is actually normal. Even siblings that were given birth to by the same parents, they have disagreements, they have fights. People used to say that the tongue and the teeth even used to fight sometimes. They used to have disagreements sometimes. So it's something that is normal in a relationship generally, whether it's marriage or just friendship relationship. Conflict is it's normal. But the important thing about conflict is how you learn to handle it when you are married, how you and your spouse learn to quickly resolve stuff, learn to talk over things on time, and learn to come to a common ground that will make the relationship to thrive and to grow. So that's something I've come to know, that conflict is normal. The fact that we are having a disagreement doesn't mean that my partner is a bad person, and doesn't mean that I am also a bad person. When you have disagreement, sometimes it helps you to understand the other party better, and it helps you to relate with the other party better, to just to have a thriving relationship. The funny thing is that some things that you have been having disagreements about when you were courting or in a relationship might actually be the same things that you actually be having misunderstanding about if you guys have not communicated well and talked things through. So the important thing is just learn how to handle the conflict so that they don't blow out and result to something that cannot be managed or to a divorce. What I'm talking about is intimacy is more than sex. When you ask people that, okay, I want to get married, and person like, once I get married like this, I'm going to be having sex every day, 2 times in a day, 3 times in a day. When you enter the marriage, you know that that is a fluke. That thing is a fluke because sometimes life just happens. Maybe your partner is under the weather, your partner is in a busy season, your partner is not even outrightly in the mood because your partner is not in the right state of mind. You get to know that sex is actually not every day, and intimacy doesn't actually have to be sex or result into sex at all times. Sometimes just being there for your partner, holding your partner, comforting your partner, speaking good words to and over your partner, it means much more sometimes than having the physical sex. you know so I've come to know that I've come to understand that the fact that you guys are not having sex every day doesn't mean that you guys are not good. The fact that you guys are having sex 3 times, 2 times, 5 times, or the fact that you guys don't even have sex in a week doesn't mean that your marriage is collapsing or your marriage is ending. No, intimacy is deeper than just having sex. And I've come to understand that when you guys are really intimate, emotionally intimate, you have sex even without planning, and the sex you guys have is meaningful to both you and your spouse. And also, one thing I've come to know that intimacy takes time. Intimacy might not just happen overnight with you and your spouse. Intimacy takes years of trying to be vulnerable and to be open to one another. And that is where you can build a bond that is actually not easily broken. The fourth thing I think you should know about marriage is that marriage won't fix all your personal problems, your personal struggles, or your traumas. No, it will only elevate those traumas if you don't deal with it. When you want to marry, or when you see somebody that you like, you feel like, okay, this person is bound to make me happy for the rest of my life. This person is saving me from, you know, things that I'm trying to run away from. This person is bringing healing to my soul. Yes, that is possible. But marriage doesn't save you from trauma. Marriage doesn't save you from personal struggles. It doesn't save you from insecurity. It doesn't save you from, lack of motivation, procrastination, or your personal issues that you're dealing with. Yes, your partner can motivate you. Your partner can make you better, can amplify your strength. But last, all those your traumatic experiences, your struggles, the personal healings that you need to work on by yourself, you still have to do it so that the conflict that you and your partner are even having will not be as often as you guys used to have it. For example, maybe you're someone that grew up in a not so loving environment and you always look down on yourself, you don't see good in yourself, you see yourself as a bad person, or you see yourself as somebody that nothing can come out from. Well, your partner can try to make you see that, okay, babe, I really love you, I see value in you, you are this, you are that. You actually have to be the one that will take on this job of walking through your personal healing for yourself. So your spouse cannot bring about your total happiness. Your spouse, the role of giving you happiness, giving you joy is not dependent on your spouse. It's dependent on you, God, and your spouse. Yes, your spouse has a role to play, but it's not totally dependent on your spouse. Lastly, one thing I think you should know about marriage is that communication is important, but communication is not just about talking. Communication is about speaking to the reason behind your actions. I don't know if you understand, but for example, maybe you're someone that your spouse always says, okay, you don't do this, you don't do this, I don't like how you do this, I don't like how don't I don't like how you talk to me and all of that. Communication is not just about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Communication is about sitting down with your spouse and making your spouse know that, okay, I grew up in this kind of situation. For example, I was raised by this particular set of people, for example. And when I was in this environment or when I went to school, I had to bring up a mechanism to cope with how people made me feel. And because of that, I have become defensive, automatically by reflex. And that is why I react. That is why I talk to you the way I talk to you. So when you compare communicating the reason behind your actions to your partner, it makes your partner understand that, okay, maybe you are dealing with a particular trauma. How do we go deep down into this situation and try to handle it? Because the truth is, if you don't speak from the depth of your heart to your partner cannot actually read your mind, and your partner will keep complaining or doing the same things over and over again, which will keep on triggering you, and your relationship will just be, going wide apart rather than getting